Welcome to Sports Scene, everyone. I'm Carlo Jimenez, live in the Annenberg Media Center with Nicole Shearin and Bonnie Tinsum.
USC football is gearing up for the Crosstown Showdown with the rival Bruins. I spoke to redshirt senior tight end Erik Krommenhoek about the rivalry. As you know, it's USC-UCLA rivalry week. Both teams are wearing their home uniforms. It's a big game. But for you specifically, how does it feel when you run out onto that field and see the blue and yellow uniforms of the Bruins?
Yeah, I think just over the years, we've had so many good games against them, and really just every time you play them, it's a bragging rights thing. We're only so far away from them. We know the players who play on their team. They know us. A lot of us played either high school ball with them or travel ball or anything growing up playing different sports. So those bragging rights are important, and you always want to win and come out on top.
So obviously both your parents went to UCLA, and I know that may be a touchy subject, but for you, did you grow up going to UCLA games and rooting for the team, or how did that work?
Yeah, so I always, we usually go to a game a year. I had UCLA bedding in my room. I definitely was a UCLA fan growing up. Was not a big USC fan, and really until the recruiting process started. My parents have been awesome though. They always, they said, it's your decision. We don't want any of our college history or anything we did to, make your decision, or we don't want to make your decision for you. This is your life. You get to do what you want. So they've been super supportive. They wear Cardinal and gold. My dad's finally wearing red this year, which was a big step for him. So it's been awesome just to have them out at games, having them there and get to play against the college that they went to.
So the big question is, who will the Krommenhoek family be rooting for this weekend?
They've always rooted for USC while we've played UCLA as long as I'm here. Once I'm gone, I don't know who they'll root for, but as long as I'm playing, they're going to root for USC.
I'm sure you saw the tweet by UCLA linebacker that was tweeted. What was your initial reaction when he called USC the little boys across the street?
Obviously, you see stuff like that. People say stuff to the media. I know we won that game, so I know he was referring to last year. Obviously, we had won that game, but obviously it's a good game every year, and we're just looking forward to playing them.
So I'm assuming you print that out in the locker room, have it as motivation.
There are a few around the facility, yeah.
Of course, the biggest story ahead of the rivalry matchup, apart from some smack talk, is Jackson Dart. The freshman will take over starting duties this weekend in the wake of Keaton Slovis's lower leg injury. Keontae Ingram on Dart to start.
I feel like the main thing that impressed me about Jackson is his confidence. That dude got crazy confidence, especially being such a young guy. And he's been like that actually since he stepped on campus. I feel like that kid got a bright future ahead of him. He's going to win the Heisman one day, watch, I'm telling you.
Bonnie, what do you expect from Dart this weekend against UCLA?
To be honest, before the announcement, I believe USC will win. Although the Trojans currently sit at a disappointing 4-5 for the season, UCLA hasn't performed well either. ESPN gave a 55.5% matchup predictor to USC, and the Trojans have more yards per game than UCLA. While the rivalry just got a lot more interesting with Dart running the show. Dart has looked electric at times when given chance, but the loss against Arizona State was not especially sharp performance. Following the Trojan loss to the Notre games, Dante Williams said that he was clear to an extent but not fully ready to participate. We cannot put much expectation on him. He is just a freshman.
I'm going to have to disagree a little bit, Bonnie. Look, Jackson Dart brings a ton of energy, and that's what we're going to see this weekend. The question is, can he remain poised? This is a UCLA defense that loves to bring the blitz. They run a 4-2-6, which means you're going to see a lot of double blitzing linebackers. Good thing for Dart, well, he's got the mobility to escape those linebackers, but when he's running away from players is when we've seen some questionable decisions from the freshman quarterback. Against Arizona State, he was just 1 for 10 on throws farther than 10 yards, and as a whole finished 8 for 17 with an interception against a defense that didn't have their best cornerback in Jack Jones. Look, Dart's going to have to be poised in the most intense game of the season in his first career start at the Coliseum against the Bruins.
I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit here. In his first 2 showings, he threw for 198 total yards with a 57% completion percentage. So on paper, he doesn't look all that great. In his first showing against Washington State, sure, he threw 4 touchdowns, but threw 2 interceptions. He then turned around and threw another one against Arizona State. So sure, Dart to start sounds cool. It has a nice ring to it. I'm skeptical.
Yeah, Nicole, but let's look at some context behind his last 3 games. He gets thrown in there against Washington State, didn't think he was going to play. And then against Notre Dame and Arizona State, it didn't really look like there was any rhyme or reason to when he was playing, why he was playing. It just looked like they were throwing him out there when they wanted to. Dart has had since last Wednesday, knowing he's the guy this weekend against UCLA. I think we're going to see a different Jackson Dart. I have high expectations. He's been handed the keys to the kingdom, and he's had a lot of time to prepare.
He's had a lot of time to prepare for this weekend, but does he have the experience, I think, is the main question. He's a freshman. This is his first career start. It's a big rivalry game against UCLA, so that excitement could take him either way.
The number 25 ranked USC men's basketball team is 3-0, and that's thanks to a 78-61 win yesterday over Florida Gulf Coast in the Dunk City reunion game, as head coach Andy Enfield made his return to Alico Arena for the first time since he coached the Eagles in 2013. Nicole, what were your takeaways from yesterday's win?
Boogie Ellis is the real deal. He averages 16 points a game. Yesterday, he had 18 points with 8 rebounds. This is the guy that is going to carry this Trojan team this season.
Although the Trojans won with a huge advantage, they didn't find the rhythm in the beginning of their game, especially on the offense. The team missed 7 straight three-pointer and was down by 5.8 minutes into the game. The team only relied on the senior Goodwin, who contributed 6 of USC's first 8 points. I do think they can continue this one-man strategies in the next game.
Yeah, Bonnie, I agree. It was a slow start, but let's give the Trojans some breathing room. Look, they've been on the road since Wednesday. They played Thursday in Philadelphia against Temple, then spent 3 days in the Sunshine State to prepare for Florida Gulf Coast and played at 4 o'clock local time on a Tuesday. That's a little bit of an odd time at the end of a long 2-game road trip. I think it's one game. It's their first road trip of the season. It's okay if they have one slow start, and it's impressive that they still were able to win by 17.
I think everyone needs to just settle down a little bit. It was the first 8 minutes of a 20-minute half. They had absolute tanks out there on the court. 4 players, all over 6'8", 44 points in the paint. That's more than half the points they scored. So it's not about how this team starts, but it's how they finish, and the Trojans got the job done.
We're just 2 days away from USC soccer's second-round matchup against Penn State. I caught up with junior midfielder Croix Bethune about her opening round hat trick and the Trojans' tournament run.
For this game, we just wanted to emphasize on starting fast and getting our goals out quick so we can defend on the back end. And this game against Penn State is going to be a big game, a good game. So we just need to continue to keep that energy and try to score first so teams don't have the advantage.
Because UNC loses, you guys get to stay home this week and you don't have to leave tomorrow to go all the way to North Carolina. How much of an advantage is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's always great having home games. And during this time in November, being at North Carolina would have been freezing, and a lot of people aren't used to that weather. So it would have been a very different aspect. But we would have left tomorrow just to get used to the time change and training and getting prepared. But gladly we're at home in our own beds, so handling business at home in front of our fans is always fun.
And then second half of the season for you has been really terrific. First 9 games, you had 6 goals, 3 assists. The last 10, you've got 10 goals and 6 assists. What kind of clicked for you midway through the season in terms of like, I found my niche in this team, and now you've been able to really just take off since the midway point?
Just the momentum and energy. My teammates backing me up, putting me in positions to score and get those assists. And also my coaches just kind of emphasizing that we want more out of you. You've done great, but you can do more, so put it on the table.
Well, it will be really interesting, Nicole. Friday, 1:30, Trojans will welcome in the Nittany Lions from Penn State. They could play 2 home games this weekend. How do they ensure that with a win Friday afternoon?
The key to this win for the Trojans on Friday is scoring first. We saw in the first round of the NCAA tournament, 3 teams, all 3 top-ranked teams, all lost because they didn't score first. So that's the key to this Trojan team.
And look, this is a USC team that is uber talented. The most Pac-12 postseason awards ever. This might be the most talented team ever in USC women's soccer history. And so you want to get the ball to your talent and make them make plays. We saw Croix Bethune with 3 goals in less than 9 minutes continue to have that quick start.
The good thing with this Trojan team is, like you said, they do have that talent. Penelope Hawking has been on fire this season, so it's looking good. It's going to be a close matchup, but that's what they have to do to get this job done.
Well, that's all the time we have for Sports Scene today. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and thanks again to Erik, Krommenhoek, and Croix Bethune for joining us on the show. Make sure to follow all our coverage on Twitter at @AndMediaSports. For Bonnie Tinsum and Nicole Shearin, I'm Carlo Jimenez. We'll see you next time.